Good evening, you're watching Estuary News. I'm Hugh Richards. In the headlines tonight, a series of armed robberies in Hull, work on a new flood defence scheme in Cleethorpes, and a sea of blue for the City of Culture. And in tonight's programme, I'll be talking to Alan Edgar about a Freedom concert in Hull. And before that, Sophie Eckersall and Hannah Godfrey tell me about mentoring the young. Police are investigating two armed robberies which took place in the Stoneferry area of Hull on Saturday. Two men are reported to have entered a petrol station on Leeds Road shortly after 11 p.m. They threatened staff with two weapons and then stole cash and cigarettes before leaving the scene. A further incident occurred on a cycle path between Chamberlain Road and Ashington Drive when a man was threatened by two men with weapons. They stole his gold iPhone 5S and his bicycle. The man was grabbed and thrown to the ground. None of the victims were harmed in the incidents. Grimsby Methodist Church has been damaged following a fire. It happened on Saturday afternoon when expandable foam was sprayed into the letterbox of the church and set alight. No one was injured. Police are treating the fire as arson. Over 200,000 people have now visited the Ferrens Art Gallery since it reopened in mid-January. It'll host the Turner Prize later this year and has already played a pivotal role in Hull's year as City of Culture. Part of it is made up of the Sea of Hull artworks that were created by American artist Spencer Tunick. Last summer, he snapped hundreds of naked people, painted blue, around the city and says he's pleased how the final exhibition looks.
It puts my work into the context of great artists and humbles my mind. I'm just honored to be here at the Ferrens Art Gallery, newly renovated. Before the Turner Prize opens here, we have a good run. The show runs for 3 months, and 3 or 4 months, and I think it's a compelling show. I think people will enjoy seeing all these works that they've never seen before, and I'm just honored to be part of it.
Work has started on a new flood defence scheme in Cleethorpes. Over £1 million has been secured from the Environment Agency to replace the breakwater at the northern end of the North Promenade. Nearly 12,000 tonnes of rock has been delivered from Norway. The existing timber groin will be replaced by a Y-shaped groin. It's the most cost-efficient in terms of long-term maintenance. It's expected to take 10 weeks. The Deep in Hull will find out if it's won a prestigious award tonight. They've been shortlisted for the title of Inclusive Tourism Award as part of Visit England's Awards for Excellence 2017. The awards aim to recognise customer service excellence. They're competing against the Eden Project in Cornwall and London's Victoria and Albert Museum. Louise Kirby says winning the award would be great for Hull.
The spotlight's on Hull. The Deep really has become an icon for the city, and all eyes are pointing to our city, and all eyes are therefore pointing at the Deep. We're having a fantastically busy year already this year, so hopefully we're getting a lot more people who haven't been to the Deep before now enjoying Hull and enjoying the product that we have to offer as well. It would be great to bring that award back to Hull and not see it go to Cornwall or London, and what a great year to win it in for the City of Culture year as well.
Work has now started on the Yorkshire Harbour and Marina project with over £3 million from the local fund grant. The pre-construction work will look at a design for the preferred concept and development of tender documentation for the project's construction. East Riding Council and Bridlington Harbours Commissioners have appointed Arup Group for the project. Both organisations have agreed on retaining the commercial fishing fleet in the existing harbour and creating the marina in the proposed new harbour. The work is planned to be completed by the end of next year. North East Lincolnshire Council is to sell the site of Thrunscoe Junior School in Cleethorpes. The land is classified as a brownfield site, which means the area has previously been developed. The classification allows the conversion of existing land without having to tamper with greenfield sites. Lawrence Brown of Scott's Property, the council's agent, says that selling the area as a brownfield area is beneficial to Cleethorpes.
As we move into the 21st century, so there's something called a sustainability agenda, where the government and local authorities want to try to ensure that our towns and cities are well developed and well used, and we don't have big pockets of vacant land sitting within our urban areas. And so by redeveloping those sites, that helps to create a sustainable economy and helps to keep money in the centre of a town or a city. So for example, if we take this site, if it's developed, let's say for housing, it's on a bus route, so transport links are great. It's close to the centre of Cleethorpes, so somebody could walk from a house on here into the centre of Cleethorpes to get their shopping or to visit somebody else in Cleethorpes. It's close to other facilities such as schools. So all of that helps to create sustainability and helps to keep money in a dense urban area rather than being scattered out to the periphery of a town.
XL Mentoring is a community mentoring project aimed at 11 to 18-year-olds, and I'm joined now by Sophie Eckersall and Hannah Godfrey to tell me more about the project. Thank you both very much for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
First of all, Hannah, what is XLM?
XLM Mentoring, it's a community group in the area that it focuses on young people. We get mentors that we match with children or young people that need kind of a positive role model in their life.
Well, that was Sophie. Who are the people being helped by this? Who are the young people who benefit?
It's usually, it's a mixture of young people, and every mentee that we have has a different reason for being on the programme. Sometimes they need help because they're on the edge of exclusion at school, would that be behavioural or confidence issues.
Exclusion is what used to be called expulsion.
Yeah. Absolutely. Sometimes, we have people that just past experiences, bereavement, that just need help, bit of guidance, and almost a critical friend. So.
A critical friend, that's always a delicate way of putting things.
Yes.
Hannah, so you're looking for mentors in North East Lincolnshire particularly?
Yes, so any mentors that want to come forward and volunteer, we'd obviously be happy to have them. Any volunteers in general who don't want to maybe go into mentoring but want to come and help out with activities that we organise for the young people. If
people want to lend a hand and help, then how can they get in touch?
We have an email address. If they email us, it's xlmgrinsby123@gmail.com.
Splendid. Okay. And we know that the people who are going to be benefiting from this, the young people, they have their own problems to solve. That means I would imagine that the people who are mentoring them, if I can use that as a verb, which I absolutely shouldn't, that they will have a particular set of skills themselves as well, a particular set of qualities and abilities.
Yeah,
Sophie.
Absolutely. I mean, it's usually just the want to do it, and the main thing is the communication. So you've got to have an ear to listen. And a commitment to, it's 2 hours a week over a 12-month period. So, that's probably the main thing, someone that they can communicate with. So any good communication skills are always key.
There's also, when we think of the word mentor, you've used the word critical friend, but we also think of sort of in some degrees a role model as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So somebody who's, achieved something or themselves got over difficulties and got over problems.
Yeah, I think as a mentor, and from my experience of doing it, I've used my past experiences quite a lot during, the times that I've met with my mentee. So, advising on ways to do things, probably based on, I've learned either that's the right way to do it or absolutely the wrong way to do things.
Well, it's a good idea to pass on your own mistakes to somebody else, isn't it? At least the mistakes aren't wasted if you do that. Is there a little bit of training as well, Hannah?
Yes, there's it's a 2-day training course. Basically, you just get prepped on what to expect, kind of go over the safety aspect of it as well, and just preparing you for it, really. I mean, anyone can do it. It's just, like Sophie said, the want to do it.
You say anybody could do it, but it's going to take a certain amount of commitment, a certain amount of heartache.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, obviously you've got to be able to have the time for the young person, so 2 hours a week for a 12-month period. So if you feel like you can't offer that time, then obviously don't come.
There was another role as well. You're looking for a volunteer for a slightly more step behind the scenes role.
Absolutely. It's basically a coordinator role. Someone who coordinates with schools. All the mentees come to us via referral schemes in schools. So it's someone that coordinates with the schools and also is a support for mentors, because sometimes you're the mentee support, but as a mentor sometimes you just need that support yourself.
Right, let's get this sorted out. There is no such word as mentee. Mentor was a king into whose trust Odysseus bestowed the upbringing of his son Telemachus. So a mentor is somebody who looks after somebody, and the person being looked after is, if we're not going to say Telemachus, maybe at least say protege. Mentee it's just, I'm being pedantic, I know, but I've been working in education for long enough to think that maybe this is a word that I've done some good this evening.
Well.
So anyway, how many mentors, which is a perfectly good word, how many mentors are you looking for?
However many.
Yeah, there's about, at the minute we've got, I think, about 6 mentees actively waiting for mentors.
Oh, really?
And so as soon as we've got them, that'd be great. But we are always looking for more mentees as well.
Well, Telemachus is.
Sorry.
And these are referred to you through the schools in the local area, and that's how you come by them.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you both very much for coming in, and I hope that you have. I'm sorry about being so pedantic about
It's
the
okay. Well, we'll try and change our ways.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming in. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Join me after the break when Luke brings us a roundup of all the latest sporting action, and I'll be talking to Alan Edgar about a Freedom concert in Hull. Welcome back. You're watching Estuary News. Still to come tonight, Luke brings us a roundup of all the latest sports news, and I'll be talking to Alan Edgar about a Freedom concert in Hull. Roadworks start in Willoughby, East Yorkshire from tonight. East Riding Council will be improving the high friction surfacing and road markings at the Willoughby Square roundabout and on all the approach roads. Kingston Road will be closed in both directions on the first night with a diversion route along Beverley Road and Gorton Road. Car Lane will be closed for the 3 following nights with a diversion along Kingston Road and the Parkway. The works will take 4 nights to complete between 7 p.m. and 5 a.m. The fashion retailer Zara has announced it is to close its Hull store. It's set to leave St Stephen's shopping centre in July due to a rent rise. Leases on 17 other shops are up for renewal, including Next, New Look and Nando's. JD Sports is set to move into the space following the departure of Zara. Staff at the store have been offered redeployment to stores in Leeds and York. And more news from the High Street as the fashion chain Jaeger has closed its Beverley store. The closure of the branch in Saturday Market has resulted in 9 job losses. It's one of 20 Jaeger stores set to close as financially unviable. The nearest Jaeger store is now in Harrogate. North Lincolnshire Council has started planning the Community Champion Awards. The awards aim to recognise inspirational achievements by people across the county. Nominations for this year's awards open on the 1st of June, and they can be made online at northlinks.gov.co/champion. The 6th ceremony will take place on the 23rd of November at the Baths Hall in Scunthorpe. Health visiting teams from Scunthorpe have been awarded Baby Friendly accreditation. The award from UNICEF is the 3rd stage of the UK Baby Friendly initiative. A survey revealed that 88% of women were happy with the standards of care that pregnant women and new mothers receive under the service. I'm joined now by Alan Edgar to tell me about a concert taking place in Hull in a few weeks' time, all in the name of freedom. Alan, welcome. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you, Hugh. Nice to be here.
Now, let's get the nitty-gritty out of the way. First of all, when and where will the concert take place?
It's May the 3rd. It's Wednesday evening. It's going to be at the Octagon, which is in Walker Street in Hull, near Adelaide Street, near the Royal Infirmary. 7:30 in the evening, but if people come at 7, they'll have a chance to try an instrument.
I cannot recommend, if you've never tried an instrument, I'm talking to an old pro here, but if you've never tried an instrument, I cannot recommend it highly enough. It might be a life-changing experience.
It might be an unusual experience, an unusual opportunity.
Few more logistics there as well. There's plenty of parking around there.
It's a large free car park on site, which is remarkable in Hull. There'll be refreshments. It's easy access to the hall, a nice comfortable hall.
And the most important thing is the tickets are
free.
Excellent.
Yes.
In that case, there's probably going to be high demand. Should people book beforehand?
They can't.
Oh.
It's first come, first served. If people won't have to pay for anything except refreshments. But if they want to make donations, the Goodwin Trust, who run that centre, they're a very good social charity.
Excellent. Now, let's talk about what's on the bill. What sort of music can we look forward to?
Well, it's classical music mostly. We have a fine flute player. We have an oboist who will be making us feel a little sad, I think. We have a clarinetist who's going to bring his enormous 8-foot contrabass clarinet and have fun with that.
I have heard that sort of instrument. You can hear it reverberating in your chest, can't you?
Yes, it will shake the room. We have a vibes player who's going to play Brazilian landscapes. That will be something quite different. We have some lovely singers from the university and from Newland School for Girls. And we have a very fine advanced dance student who will be dancing the role of Pandora when we tell the story of Pandora.
And her famous box. Now,
absolutely, yes.
Who will be playing? These are professional, semi-professional
They're all local people. They're nearly all actually live in Hull or immediately nearby in the East Riding. The furthest away is Elizabeth, the dancer, who lives in Gainsborough, but she studies in Scarborough and York. They're, apart from one, they're semi-professionals. We have 3 members of the Parisi Quartet who play for weddings and that sort of thing. There are some teachers. And we have a first-class conductor in Rachel Matheson, who's also looks after the girls' choir at Beverley Minster.
And some of this work we can look forward to is your own composition.
I've composed pieces for the date. The date is important for Hull people. It's the centenary of the Battle of Oppy Wood in the First World War, which meant many casualties for Hull families. So there's an element of remembrance in the music. But we're also celebrating freedom. And I've even written a piece specially for that venue, because we have an art installation there by Andy P. of origami birds. So the flute will be playing a fluty, birdy piece.
Okay, I suppose it's very appropriate that a concert for freedom has free tickets as well. That's an important connection.
Yes.
Just tell me a little bit more about this theme of freedom, and especially in your own work that you've composed.
Well, it all started. I was challenged to write a piece for oboe on his own, or on her own. It's very hard to play an oboe for very long. It's very tiring. So I thought I would try to write a piece with poetry interspersed with the music. And a good friend of mine, Sue Spivey, who's a poet from Hessel, had given me a poem called Shadows of the Fallen. And so the music is reflecting that poetry, which will be read in between the music.
So there's
so there's that.
More than one art form to be found. On
yes,
the 3rd of May, Octagon in Hull.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you so much for coming in.
I hope they'll all come.
I'm sure they will. Here's Luke with all the sports news.
Ten-man Hull City beat Watford on Saturday in their continued fight against relegation from the Premier League. Omar Nias was sent off midway through the first half, but second-half strikes by Lazar Markovic and Sam Klukas sealed the 2-0 win for the Tigers. And Marco Silva says it was amongst their most important results.
The 2 wins in a row, Tom, with West Ham and Middlesbrough, is really important as well to put our team out of the bottom 3. And now we need to keep this fight. Of course, it's important today because the feeling, maybe the feeling in the stadium, maybe our players, the feeling as well, to feel when the Niassi sent off the Niassi, maybe they feel, okay, today maybe don't win the game. But it's important we believe and we work together and you believe always in our capacities.
They remain 2 points clear of the bottom three after Swansea City beat Stoke. There are now just 4 games remaining, with City at Southampton on Saturday. Scunthorpe United won't gain automatic promotion from League One despite their 4th successive win. They beat Swindon 2-1 away from home on Saturday, thanks to goals by Marie Wallace and Sam Manton. However, Bolton beat Port Vale to deny the Iron a top 2 spot. United round off the regular season on Sunday against already relegated Coventry. Russell Slade's Grimsby Town beat Yeovil 4-2 at Blundell Park. Sam Jones opened the scoring with a 6th-minute penalty before Chris Clements, Scott Vernon and Jamie Osborne netted the rest. It now places them in the 14th spot in the League 2 table. Slade has been attributing the club's win to a more consistent style of playing compared to their performance against Cheltenham last week.
Individual performances, collective performances. There was a lovely moment for Osborne for his goal, but I also liked the fact that I thought Scott Vernon absolutely worked his socks off for the team. Got himself a goal that he deserved as well. I thought he put in a terrific performance as well. But there was some better, more consistent performances this week.
Elsewhere, already relegated North Ferriby United lost 3-0 at home to Aldershot in the National League. Rugby Now and Hull FC have moved to within a point of the Super League summit. They played a large part of their 26-24 win over leaders Castleford with 12 men after Liam Watts was sent off in the first period. Mahe Fanua scored 2 tries in the victory. Elsewhere, Hull Kingston Rovers are through to the 6th round of the Challenge Cup after pulling off a shock at Super League Lee Centurions. Orion Shawbrace helped them to 23-10. That's all for the sport.
Thanks very much, Luke. That's it for tonight. If you have a story for us or anything else for us, then please get in contact via Facebook or Twitter, or email news@estuary.tv, or call 01472 31 55553, or you can write to us at Estuary TV, Nuns Corner, Laceby Road, Grimsby, DN345BQ. Until tomorrow, from all of us here, have a very good evening. Good evening, you're watching Estuary News. I'm Hugh Richards. In the headlines tonight, travel chaos as the bank holiday weekend looms, recruitment success for British Steel in Scunthorpe, and baby postcards in Hull. And later in tonight's programme, I'll be talking to Jonathan Byrne about stress busting in Grimsby. And before that, Fiona Searle and Kenneth Land join me in this Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Week. Train travel chaos is likely on Friday during industrial action. It's expected to cause widespread disruption across the region on the first day of the Tour de Yorkshire and on the eve of the bank holiday weekend. Northern Rail expects to run a reduced service with either train or replacement bus services. These include the Cleethorpes to Barton, Scarborough to Hull and Sheffield to Hull lines. The 48-hour planned strike has been called by members of the RMT union in a dispute over driver-only operation of trains. Richard Allen, Deputy Managing Director at Northern Rail, said they're very disappointed that the RMT has announced strike action. Is he there, Richard Allen from Northern Rail? No, he's not. Very sorry about that. Over 100 jobs are set to go at a confectionery plant in Yorkshire. Nestlé has announced that it's moving the distribution of the Blue Ribbon brand to Poland, meaning 143 positions will go in York. It's part of national cuts to 4 sites, which the GMB and Unite unions have criticised as completely unacceptable. UKIP is in some confusion as to its parliamentary candidate for Great Grimsby. Mike Hookham, MEP, has declared himself the candidate. However, the leader of UKIP on North East Lincolnshire Council, Councillor John Stockton, told Estuary TV that no decision on candidate selection has yet been made. The decision will be made by local party members at a special candidate selection meeting tomorrow. Mr Hookham told us that he was standing when we spoke to him last week.
What we're hoping to bring is a fresh face to Grimsby, fresh ideas. You know, I'd like to bring investment into the area, regeneration. We're standing on Freeman Street here, which is looking very dilapidated with empty shops. We need reinvestment, we need regeneration, we need jobs, you know, and we need a bright future for Great Grimsby. And I believe, as the candidate for Great Grimsby, I can bring that to the forefront.
Over 5,000 people have recently applied for jobs at British Steel. The company advertised 140 trainee jobs back in October last year. Of those, they've selected 123 who will be based in Scunthorpe. British Steel's Paul McBean attributes the overwhelming response to British Steel's job offers to the company's regeneration since taking over in Scunthorpe, and says it's all about sustaining the future of the company.
It just makes the people who already work here feel enthused, because knowing that there's so many people want to come into our industry and make it their future, the same as it's always provided me with a good living. I want it to do the same for our youngsters. That was my aim, to keep this industry going through all that battle. From June the 1st, it's been up, and it's to give other people the opportunities that I've had, and long may it continue to be so.
The Deep in Hull has missed out on a prestigious award. It was shortlisted for the title of Inclusive Tourism Award as part of Visit England's Awards for Excellence 2017. The Eden Project in Cornwall won it. The ceremony recognised customer service excellence across England. The Local Growth Fund has provided £8 million to the Humber Local Enterprise Partnership as part of its recent growth deal with the government. It'll help support small and medium-sized businesses in the Humber area to make capital investments and create jobs. The programme to date has created over 1,500 jobs. The additional funding will create a further 525 jobs on the Humber. Friday is Workers' Memorial Day. The day is celebrated throughout the world and has taken place in North Lincolnshire since 2003. It's in remembrance of workers who died either in or as a result of their place of work. Nobby Stiles is the founder of the North Lincolnshire spin-off to the event and is also campaigning to get it officially recognised.
It started in Canada, and the Hazard magazine actually did an article, or sometimes just before 2002, and I thought I'd like to have a go at it because I was officially a union safety rep, and safety was one of my biggest concerns. And it was something like, with most people, if you can stop any accidents and injuries, it's a bonus not just for the workplace but for everyone and the families to stop pain and suffering. So from there I had the idea of trying these services off to fetch recognition for Workers' Memorial Day, and also to publicise the fact of just how many people are dying at work and what can we do to stop it. The actual day will consist of the laying of wreaths, a minute's silence, we will have a service and we will have some speakers, but the main focus is standing shoulder to shoulder with families who's lost their loved ones and showing them that they not only do not stand alone, but we want to stop further pain and suffering to other families.
I suppose anybody called Styles can be called Nobby. Postcards have gone on sale commemorating babies born during Hull's reign as City of Culture. One postcard will be produced every 2 months, featuring scaled-down versions of midwives' handprints and baby footprints. It's part of the Born into a City of Culture project by the Hull and East Yorkshire Hospitals NHS Trust. Footprints are being taken of every baby born throughout the course of the year and imprinted on a giant work of art at the Women and Children's Hospital. Sally Ward says the project has captured everyone's imagination.
A lot of the families that have had babies in January and February are coming, but also members of the public who are interested in our project, and it's a way of raising funds and giving someone back for it, so they've got a memento as well. So we thought it was a really nice idea so that anybody that wanted one could come in and get them. And the amount of publicity we've had and the positive response from the public's been massive. The hospital put it on their Facebook page and we're getting hundreds of comments and they're all positive, and it's really lovely to see that you know, that everyone in the city's getting behind the project, and you know, what better way to start than right at the beginning, so it's been really good.
And there was a nurse called Miss Ward. This week is Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Week. It coincides with the 25th anniversary of the first specialist MS nursing in the UK. The illness affects more than 100,000 people across the country. And I'm joined now by Fiona Searle, who is an MS patient, and Kenneth Lamb of the MS Society. Fiona, Kenneth, thank you both very much for coming in.
Thank you. Good
evening. First of all, not everybody will be familiar with what MS is, Fiona. What sort of disease is it?
Multiple sclerosis is a neurological condition, and basically what happens is the body's own immune system attacks the myelin protective sheath around the brain cells, which causes a breakdown in communication, which then travels around the body and affects certain parts of the body.
So the brain cells don't talk to the rest of the body properly?
That's right, yes. Yeah.
Okay. And what are the symptoms? How does it present itself?
Everybody with MS has different symptoms, but mainly it's fatigue, mobility, pain, numbness, tingling. You can have vision problems, problems with speech and cognitive difficulties as well.
Kenneth, this is Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Week. Of what should we be aware?
You should be aware of people with MS. It's a very serious disease. As your article said before, 100,000 people in the UK suffer with it. In Lincolnshire alone, there's 1,200 people. In this area, Grimsby and Cleethorpes, it's about 360. So we need to get it out there because there's an awful lot of people suffering in silence.
And how, well, in that case, the awareness is all very well, but then how can we help?
You need to get in touch with the MS Society or the MS Trust. Our phone number is 0800 800 8000. They will give you the local branch number to get in touch with us. We hold regular meetings. We do a coffee morning at Healing Manor every Tuesday, Tai Chi lessons on a Thursday afternoon in Cleethorpes, and on a Friday we're at Grimsby Leisure Centre doing the toning tables.
There are one or two other sort of aspects of the symptoms of the disease themselves mean that people can make mistakes. People can mistake MS sufferers for just people who are drunk.
Yes, that's right, yes. Because it affects your balance and your speech, so you can stumble when you're walking or when you're talking to people. You can have difficulty in getting the words out as well, which can appear as being drunk as well. So you know, it does affect a lot of people, especially with working as well. A lot of people do retire from work due to ill health, due to the symptoms of
so
MS.
It's absolutely life-changing in that
That's
case.
right, it is, yes.
People can be intolerant about parking spaces as well.
That's right, yes. I think with it being an invisible illness as well, you can look at somebody, and those that don't know what MS actually is, tend to judge people as well. So if you park in a disabled parking space or use the disabled toilet facilities in buildings as well, it can get frowned upon and comments made by the general public as to why you are using these facilities, as though it's not difficult enough coping with the condition itself. Which is why the Awareness Week is very important, not just for the people with MS, but the general public and the carers also. And there are, as I say, a lot of people out there, and it affects so many young people as well, teenagers and people in the 20s, 30s. So it's not an old person's disease. That's right.
Kenneth, what's the state of medicine at the moment? Is there a cure?
There is no cure for it. They are working on one at the moment, which is stem cell replacement, where they harvest your stem cells, give you chemotherapy to kill off your immune system, then reimplant the stem cell to regrow your immune system. But it's not it won't cure it.
No.
It'll just stop it where it is. It won't mend the myelin.
Fiona, I'm going to hold this up. This is you've made this fantastic. Is it an embroidery tapestry? What is it?
It's an embroidered quilt. It was actually designed by a lady called Diana Smaller of the Phoenix Quilters in Immingham, and each one of those members handmade
And
the individual
effectively, it's
parts.
being sponsored. If people would like to sponsor it, raising money towards MS charities.
That's right, yes.
You've got a giving page?
Just giving page, justgiving.com/Phoenix Quilters. It's £2 a strip for the raffle tickets. I am on Facebook, Fiona Searle, and it's being drawn on the 8th of May, and the lucky winner will win this beautiful quilt.
It is absolutely beautiful, even though you say so yourself. I completely concur.
Thank you.
Thank you both very much for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Join me after the break. Dan will bring us a roundup of the latest sports news, and I'll be talking to Ian Judson about his campaign to honour Jack Harrison. Welcome back. You're watching SG News. Still to come tonight, Dan brings us a roundup of all the latest sports news, and I'll be talking to Ian Judson about remembering Hull rugby player and war hero Jack Harrison. The YMCA Humber has developed a course that urges people to be the best that they can be. Jonathan Byrne of the charity joins me now to tell me more about the Realise Your Potential programme. John, welcome. Thank you very much for coming in.
Evening, Hugh.
Always good to see you in here. Every 2 weeks or so, it seems like.
It is, yeah, regular slot now, I think.
What is this programme? What's the YMCA doing?
So this is a programme that runs locally. There's currently a course running in Cleethorpes that's been going for 4 weeks now, and it's about to start up next week in Immingham and Grimsby, and this is a low-level mental health needs course. So it's about realising your potential. That's the name of the course, Realise Your Potential. So we're encouraging people to be the best that they can be. So we're looking at people 19 plus, and it's going to be for people who suffer with stress, anxiety, sleeplessness, lack of confidence and self-esteem. And the idea behind the course is that it runs for 6 weeks, and it's a trial from national government to see whether these smaller community workshops are more beneficial to the people who go on the courses. So it'll be about finding out about yourself, about what makes you tick as a person, about how the mind and the body work and how they work together and how they work against each other, to give you a better understanding of what makes you tick as a person.
And you talk about these small community operations and sort of small groups of people to find out if they're more effective than what other forms of treatment or alleviation for mental health problems.
That's correct, yeah. So these courses will be for up to 12 people, and it's over a 6 weeks. So they run 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. So it's a 3-hour course each week, and this will enable people to take part in different workshops. So there's a lot of interaction around the group, so that you get to share your problems with each other and get out there and talk to each other about it. And the feedback so far from the Cleethorpes course has been that the people enjoy the interaction, that they like the way the courses are led by a project leader who's there to listen rather than talk to people. And we've all been on courses where we're talked to death by PowerPoint.
Oh, death by PowerPoint is horrible.
Things like that.
That gives me stress.
Yeah.
That affects my mental health. If people think they could be helped by these groups, how can they get in contact?
They can visit our website, so that's www.ymca-humber.com, or give us a call on 01472 359 621. So the courses, upcoming ones, will be running at the Warehouse on Freeman Street in Grimsby and the Burt Boyden Centre in Immingham.
And they are for people 19 years old and over. There's different services for young people.
That's correct, yeah. But these are strictly for 19 and over, and there'll be, if you keep an eye out with us, there'll be different services for younger people later in the year.
John, thank you so much for coming in. As ever, see you in a couple of weeks' time.
Thank you.
Here's Dan with all the sports news.
Hull City forward Umar Niasse has had his 3-game ban overturned by the FA this afternoon. The on-loan forward was sent off midway through the first half of Saturday's win over Watford. He's now available for the relegation run-in. Meanwhile, midfielder Sam Clucas has been receiving the plaudits of his teammates since his wonder goal at the weekend. He's amongst the contenders to be their player of the season, and fellow Englishman Harry Maguire says he's been a remarkable player in 2017. Lucas scored a 20-yard strike in Saturday's win. Meanwhile, the City head coach Marco Silva says he's focused on the job of keeping the club in the Premier League, despite reports of interest in him from elsewhere. He's registered 8 wins and a draw in his first 9 home games, but is remaining grounded.
What I expect and what I want when I come to do my work and to do my best, me and my staff, to help our players to improve, individual and collective, to help the club to improve as well, and to try to achieve our goal. This is what I want. We believe in our work, I believe in our players as well, and we'll see. And after what's happened after, we'll see. You never know what's happened, but I come here with confidence in our work and in our players.
Scunthorpe United midfielder Neil Bishop is hoping to make his 500th career league appearance on Sunday. The game is the final fixture of the regular season before the Iron begin their playoff campaign. The former Notts County and Blackpool midfielder has made over 100 appearances for United since joining in 2014 and is hoping to play a key role in taking them back into the Championship. A couple of local cricket results from the weekend next. Cleethorpes beat Barnsley by 7 wickets, while Appleby Frodingham was successful at Wickersley. Hull lost at home to Acomb, and Driffield also fell to defeat against York. On Sunday, in the Royal London Knockout Cup Trophy, Cleethorpes moved into round 2 with a good win over Chesterfield. They finished 250 for 4 in response to Chesterfield's 247 for 6. And finally, Rugby Union, Hull Ionians beat Old Albanian 46-33, and Hull IUFC won 26-10 at home to Kendal at the weekend. Elsewhere, Hullensians lost 53-26 to Bradford Salem. At 26 points down, prop Ryan Barron drove through to register Hullensians' first points of the afternoon before scrum half Chris Smith went over for the second of their 4 tries.
And I'm joined now by Ian Judson to tell me how he's going to be laying a wreath for and wants to put up a statue commemorating Jack Harrison. Thank you very much for coming in, Ian.
No problem.
First of all, who was Jack Harrison?
Jack Harrison was a teacher. He was born in East Hull from a very humble background, and he went off to what was St John's College York at the time. It's now York St John University, trained as a teacher, then came back to Hull, and despite his East Hull roots and his dad being a big Rovers fan, he went off and signed for Hull FC.
And I suspect you're a fan. He did rather well with Hull FC, didn't he?
He did, yeah. He in his first season with Hull from 1912-13, he won his colour despite some big chunks, missing 2 big chunks of the season. He actually still finished as the top try scorer. He then went and scored the winning try for Hull in the 1914 Challenge Cup final, which was won that competition, and then 52 tries in a season, which still stands to this day.
Sorry about that interruption. We've a little technical difficulty there, Ian. He was a brilliant football player. He had the record scoring number of scores.
Yeah, and then he went off he left his essential profession to go off to war to defend king and country. Yeah.
He was with the East Yorkshire Regiment in the First World War.
Yeah, the 11th Tradesmen's Battalion. Yes, and he joined up. He went to Inns of Court officer training. He was commissioned as a temporary second lieutenant, and arrived at the front line in France in September 1916.
He went on to win his first medal during the Battle of the Somme.
He did, yeah. On the western front of the Somme, he led a patrol into no man's land, captured a German prisoner, got all his men back safely under heavy fire, and so he was awarded the Military Cross for outstanding gallantry.
As if that wasn't enough, he won his Victoria Cross by sacrificing himself.
He did, yeah, on the 3rd of May 1917. His battalion was ordered to attack German machine gun positions in Oppy Wood in northern France, and he was seeing his men being systematically slaughtered by a particular machine gun, and so he took it upon himself to dash single-handed at that machine gun. He knocked it out with he knocked out half the crew with a Mills grenade, and then threw himself over the gun to stop it firing at his men so they could get to safety.
You would like a statue to be put up to this heroic man. Where would you like to see that statue?
There's 2 possible locations, either at the Cenotaph, where we remember our war dead every year, or possibly, because I've got to be realistic here, possibly it might be best to go outside Holy Trinity Church in Hull.
If people want to contribute to that very worthy cause, how do they get in touch with you very quickly?
They can contact me through the Facebook page, which is Jack Harrison VC Statue Campaign, or the Twitter account, which is @JH_VC Statue 52.
Ian, thank you so much for coming in. What a remarkable man. I do apologise for the technical problems there.
No problem.
Thanks very much. That's it for tonight. If you have a news story, then please visit our Facebook or Twitter pages, email news at estuary.tv, or phone Grimsby 01472315553. Sorry about the slight technical errors. We won't have any more tomorrow, I hope. Until then, good evening.
Welcome to Estuary TV weather. Wednesday, a rainy outlook overall with a moderate amount of sunshine, some powerful gusty winds coming in from the north delivering us some rather dark clouds. Thursday, damp and frigid conditions for the majority of the day, however temperatures rising and a chance of some sunny spells in the late afternoon.
Good evening, you're watching SG News. I'm Hugh Riches. In the headlines tonight, a new Chief Constable for Humberside yet to be appointed, dementia care in East Yorkshire, and a new home for veterans in North Lincolnshire. And later in tonight's programme, Simon West races into the studio to tell me about the Louth Run for Life. And before that, Regal Company from Miss Great Grimsby team Laura Goodaham and Emma Herriot. Applications for the job of Chief Constable of Humberside Police have reopened. Only one candidate met the expectations of the selection panel. They're hoping a new round of applications will win more interest. The former Chief Constable, Justine Curran, announced her retirement in February after serving 4 years in the role. She was replaced in the interim by her deputy, Gary Forsyth. The Humberside Police and Crime Commissioner, Keith Hunter, said the force stands a better chance of moving forward with new leadership. Expressions of interest are being accepted until midnight this Friday. And police are appealing for witnesses after an elderly couple were burgled in Beverley. It happened at around 11 a.m. on the 13th of April when a 98-year-old man was in his garden on Sigston Road and was approached by two men asking if he would like some painting done. He declined the offer. One of the men then entered the victim's house and later left the property. The 96-year-old woman discovered that cash had been stolen from her handbag. Both men left the area in a small white van which was parked outside the property. The OVO Energy Tour of Britain is coming to North Lincolnshire. The event is British cycling's premier road cycling event and will be passing through Scunthorpe. This year's route will encompass a 172-kilometre stage starting at Normanby Hall and finishing in the east of Scunthorpe. Councillor Rob Waltham of North Lincolnshire Council says the event will be a great boost for the town.
North Lincolnshire has, several factors to it. The first thing is it's got a real healthy mix of different terrain when it comes to cycling. So 1 minute you're in the Lincolnshire Wolds up at Saxby All Saints heading up towards Barton. The next minute you are cycling through the historic Isle of Axholme, which is a flat landscape, but it's got some great long sweeping aspects to it and some great bends, which will be great for cycle racing. But I think what we do have here is a really strong and solid community, and we have great history and we've got some really fantastic culture. So what that, coupled with the fact we've got some great roads and we've got some great places to see, we know it will be a great attraction for people to come to North Lincolnshire and spend and invest in the local economy.
The East Riding branch of the Campaign for the Protection of Rural England has been saved. It was feared that the group, which fights to protect areas of natural beauty, would have to close due to falling membership. But Margaret Cockbill, chair of the East Riding branch, says new members have come forward.
If we hadn't found someone, we would have had to close down the branch. Which is a shame really, because there's so much needed at this present time with housing development. There's a threat from housing development on greenfield sites and various planning applications that are coming forward. And generally we want to protect the countryside. We want to keep it green, we want to keep it pleasant for people who want to go out onto the countryside on holiday as recreation. We all need a green space.
Trading standards officers from North East Lincolnshire are warning people to be vigilant about doorstep traders. The warning follows a spate of incidents in which residents across the borough have been enticed into having a burglar alarm fitted at their properties. After initially offering installations for £99, the trader then uses misleading tactics to con victims into signing up for services costing thousands of pounds. East Yorkshire Motor Services is leading the way in dementia care. The organisation launched a scheme nearly 2 years ago to train their staff in assisting dementia patients using buses. The company is the first UK bus company to take on board the training. It's in partnership with Hull Dementia Academy. The partnership is now a regular feature of the EYMS training programme. Darren Kendrew, the training manager, says the scheme has been a success.
It's like with any disabilities, hidden disabilities, what customers may have, any awareness for the drivers is only a positive to support them, so they then have a better understanding of what the customer may be going through, what concerns they have getting on the travel with the bus. But also it supports the driver, so they've got a little bit more confidence in recognising the symptoms, the signs, so they can then adapt and respond accordingly in a positive way.
Thousands of spectators are expected to line the streets of East Yorkshire on Friday as the Tour de Yorkshire gets underway. It'll start in Bridlington before passing through Driffield and Pocklington for the first time. The ceremonial start takes place outside Bridlington Spa at 12:35 p.m. Riders will then leave the town via East Riding Leisure Bridlington and out via the A614. A single road closure from 6 p.m. will be in operation from tomorrow until 6 p.m. on Friday on Kingston Road, South Marine Drive, from Cadogan Road to Pembroke Terrace. The colourful moths that have adorned Hull for the last year go under the hammer next week. They formed part of the Amy Johnson Festival, which marked the 75th anniversary of the aviatrix's death. The moths symbolise Johnson's gypsy moth aeroplane, Jason, flown on her solo flight to Australia in 1930. All proceeds from the sale will be split between the Hull and East Yorkshire Smile Foundation and the Amy Johnson Arts and Engineering Awards. 25 of the moths will be up for sale at the auction on the 6th of May at the Royal Hull Hotel. Rick Welton, festival director, says a local auction company is helping with the sale of the iconic moths.
The auction's being run by Gilbert Bateson's Hull's leading auction house. So people can go on their website and they can see all the information about the different moths that are up for auction. We're expecting them to go from between, say, £2,000 upwards. Just depends how much interest there is. We know these days people are actually collecting animal sculptures and there's quite an interest in them. So who knows, there could be £5,000–6,000 each, some of them.
Now, I'm in regal company in the form of Emma Herriot and Laura Goodaham, respectively organiser and winner of Miss Great Grimsby. Welcome to you both. Thank you both very much for coming in.
Thank you.
Now, well done.
Thank you.
You came by this wonderful prize, this accolade, in a rather unexpected manner.
Yes. I went into a pageant that I wasn't really sure about. I wasn't sure about pageants at all, and after much persuasion from Emma, who told me all about it and how charity-based it is, I entered and ended up winning.
Well, you were going along as a reporter.
Yes.
Just to cover
yeah.
the thing, and then suddenly you're taking part in the event and winning it.
Yeah.
It's happened to us all.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And Emma, you're organising this. It's becoming an increasingly popular and increasingly big thing, beauty pageants.
Yes, it is, definitely. Like we say, it's not just about looking beautiful. Obviously, yes, Laura does.
Absolutely.
But it's a lot of involvement. There is lots of charity work, getting out there into the community and doing lots of things for your local town. And the girls have an eco round to do. So basically that is a dress or an outfit that is made out of recycled goods. So yes, that is really fun round to be a part of, and the girls really get stuck in with that.
Well, in my mind's eye, I can see black dustbin liners, but it's going to be better than that, isn't it?
Definitely, without a doubt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, you've got a lot of interest because of your story, and Great Grimsby's Miss Great Grimsby being an extremely prestigious title, quite rightly so. But you've gone international.
I know, it's crazy. I can't believe that it's gone international. I think it's a quirky story and journalists have picked up on it, and because journalists get such bad press, all of a sudden there's something quite nice about a journalist and quite nice about a beauty pageant, and I think the two have gelled really well together.
Well, there is something about beauty pageants. It's in a way, I mean, I know they're all very positive nowadays, but there's a sort of slightly old-fashioned feel to a beauty pageant, isn't there? No?
Yeah. No, definitely not. We are so much more about making friends, building people's self-esteem, and it involves so much. There's sports rounds, there is obviously the eco, there's charity, there's a lot of doing things with social media. So it isn't just a case of turning up and looking pretty. There is so much involvement in them.
Will it be beyond me then, I'm afraid? You're not stopping at Grimsby, you're going on to bigger and better things.
From the 12th to the 14th of July, I will be at Resorts World Birmingham competing in the Miss England finals.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And I have no doubt that you'll win.
Oh, I don't know about that.
What will you have to expect there? What will you be doing?
There'll be a sports round. There will be a $1 billion smile round.
Right.
There'll be a beautiful hair round. The sports round will actually be run by the reigning Mr. England, who is a personal trainer. So it is about promoting health and well-being in that respect, because the girls will have to train first and foremost before that.
Okay, the eco round sounds fascinating as well. There is a sort of wandering around in a beautiful dress and jewellery and things like that, isn't there?
Yeah.
And the hair, there's certain rules about the hair looking after.
Yeah, so the girls get a chance to showcase their creativity and their own skills on their hair, as well as the eco outfits. So it's nice because if the girls are particularly creative, they can do something wonderful with their hair as well as their outfits.
Now, all good things must come to an end, Emma, and your reign can only be 1 year, Laura.
Yeah.
When's the next Miss Great Grimsby?
To be fair, we haven't set a date for that yet. Last year, the final was in May, the end of May. We brought it forward this year to the beginning of April. So I'm really concentrating on the next few months and getting Laura through to the Miss England finals.
Okay, it does sound like a sporting event, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Good luck. I'm sure that you'll have an absolutely brilliant time. I'm sure you'll make all those friends as well. And I'm sure you're going to win. Make Great Grimsby proud.
Thank you.
Thank you both very much for coming in.
Thank you.
Join me after the break. Dan will bring us a roundup of the latest sports news. And racing into the studio, Simon West will be telling me about Louth's Run for Life. Welcome back. You're watching Estuary News. Still to come tonight, Dan brings us a roundup of all the latest sporting news, and I'll be talking to Simon West about Louth's charity run. And talking of charity runs, two fundraisers from our region have raised £4,000 for the charity after taking part in the London Marathon. Rob Walsh, CEO of North East Lincolnshire Council, completed the race in just under 4 hours, and Malcolm Smith, CEO of YMCA Humber, completed the race in just over 4 hours. The money raised will be given to the YMCA Humber to support the charity's work with young people throughout North East Lincolnshire. A new drop-in centre for veterans in North Lincolnshire has recently opened. The North Lincolnshire Veterans Community Hub is designed to assist veterans in pointing them in the right direction as they adjust to post-combat life. The hub was made possible by the efforts of John Terry, chairman of the North Lincolnshire Veterans Community Hub CIC, with help from North Lincolnshire Council.
The North Lincolnshire Veterans Community Hub is now open on Francis Street in Scunthorpe. Open on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Fridays, the hub is intended as a drop-in centre to help veterans adjust to normal life.
Veterans can come for a number of reasons. They can come and they can get help and support. We're not an advice centre, we're a signposting centre. So a veteran coming here with a problem is pointed in the right direction. The Armed Forces Covenant is a very valuable document for veterans, and we are able to point them in the right direction, point them if they've got a problem with their GP, or if they've got a problem with the NHS, or they've got a problem finding a job, then we're here to signpost and help and support them. In North Lincolnshire, I can't tell you the exact number, but it's between 16,000 and 40,000 veterans. And this hub is open to veterans, their dependents, and serving personnel and reserve personnel.
I think for myself, especially because of my PTSD, I find it difficult to, again, be in big crowds and difficult to get out. Motivation, really. And I find that the hub, I can have a bad day, come to the hub, and I feel a lot better. Same with the breakfast clubs. If I go to the breakfast clubs, then yeah, it makes me feel a lot better. The people around me, and I feel safe. It makes me feel safe. I think it's because it's ex-squaddies and we were all in the same sort of boat.
Well, personally, it's brought me forward on the NHS. In the middle of March, I learnt from one of the members of the hub that there is a veterans clinic held in Estuary near South Wales. You apply for a referral and then take it from there. Well, that was on the 16th of March. I'd been informed it would have been about 18 months, 2 years in the local area. I've actually seen my surgeon. I've had my pre-op, and I'm actually due to go for a hip replacement on the 3rd of May, which is a grand total of about 6 weeks from asking to being operated on. And that is only because of the information that has come into the hub that I've learnt from it. But it applies to all veterans. So it's not just me in the future. It will be all veterans are entitled to that kind of service.
I've just come back 2 weeks from combat stress on a 2-week inpatient there. And I think it works well. They give you and it's a big thing about trying to sort of put yourself into a routine. And that's what the problem is, and this does that for you, and hopefully it will do it for somebody else, because it makes me feel a lot better. And when I'm having really bad days, I can come here and, as you say, feel a lot better, and hopefully somebody else can do the same.
With the help of this new hub, the community nature of North Lincolnshire's veterans is well secured. From McNamara, Estuary News.
The Louth Run for Life will be run in June. Participants can walk, jog or run through the beautiful historic market town of Louth in the heart of the Lincolnshire Wolds. And I'm joined now by Simon West to tell me how people can sign up. Simon, welcome. Thanks very much for coming in.
That's okay.
Now, when is the run?
It is Sunday the 25th of June.
And how can people take part?
They can enter online at our website, louthrunforlife.webs.com, and there's a link there to our online entry. They can download an entry form from that site as well, and also we have various sign-up stalls happening in Louth and surrounding areas. We have one in Market Raisin at Tesco's on Saturday. The following Saturday we have one in Louth Marketplace. And we're having pop-up ones all over the place, which people can find out about from our Facebook page.
No excuse for not knowing where to be and when. So it's 25th of June, and start running? What time of day is it when you start?
Well, we have 3 races. Unlike the Race for Life, we try and encourage men, women, and children to get involved. So there's 10 o'clock is a 1K under 12 children's event, which is round the town centre, followed by 10:30, the main event, which the majority of the entries are ladies, run at 10:30, and it goes out from the town centre through the beautiful Hubbard Hills, back into a finish in the town centre.
And that is a beautiful route, isn't it?
It's
fantastic.
It's lovely, and we're normally blessed with lovely sunshine, so it's a nice route to run.
So it's down Westgate to Hubbard Hills.
It goes Gospel Gate, down to Hubbard Hills, back Horncastle Road, and into town centre finish.
It couldn't really be more beautiful. And the fact that you can, the running and the jogging might be for other people, but the fact that you can walk it just means that there's no pressure, it's not a...
No, we encourage people who can run, walk, jog, dog walkers. I think the eldest person has been 90, and in the under 12s event we've had like 12-month-old babies wander around with the parents.
Wonderful. Okay. You're raising money for Cancer Research UK.
We are indeed. This is our 12th year. Last year we raised an amazing £43,000, which took our total to £316,000. I don't want to rest at 43,000. I want to try and make it to 50,000. So we're encouraging everybody to get up onto their feet and come and join in and help us reach that target.
And get sponsorship, crucially.
Absolutely. It's not just about the entries. The sponsorship is the key thing that will really get us to that total.
How many people are you expecting to be there?
Last year we had about 1,600. With the sort of promotion that we're trying to push this year, it could be anywhere up to 2,000 people.
That would be rather a splendid sight on the streets of Louth and going through Hubbard Hills, wouldn't it?
It is. It is an amazing day. We encourage people to get dressed up in fancy dress and just have a real party atmosphere. It's a real community event.
Now, it takes a bit of organising something like this. You've got to close streets for a start.
Yep.
How long have you been working on it?
Pretty much the day after last year's event finished. We have a small committee. I think there's about 12 local volunteers. And yeah, most weeks we're meeting, and sort of from this time on, every day I'm doing something towards
full out on it.
Absolutely.
Brilliant, Simon. Thanks so much for coming in. That's the Louth Run for Life, Sunday the 25th of June 2017 in the morning, starting off in the Market Square.
At 10 o'clock, yeah.
And www.louthrunforlife.webs.com. Simon, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Here's Dan with all the sports news.
Hull FC prop Liam Watts has been handed a 2-game ban after going before the RFL disciplinary panel. He's also been given a £300 fine after being charged with a Grade B offence for a high tackle against Castleford at the weekend. Watts pleaded not guilty and will now miss the next couple of games against Warrington and Widnes. Meanwhile, the Challenge Cup draw was made last night for the 6th round of the competition. The Black and Whites enter at this stage and will take on Catalan's Dragons at the KCOM Stadium. Elsewhere, Hull Kingston Rovers, who overcame Super League side Lee to make it to this stage, will travel to Salford Red Devils. That game is a repeat of the £1 million game that saw the Robins relegated from the top flight last season. Cricket now in Yorkshire have had 5 players called up for England's upcoming Champions Trophy competition. New England captain Joe Root has been named, along with wicketkeeper Johnny Bairstow and bowlers Adil Rashid, Liam Plunkett and David Willey. The squad will also take part in games against South Africa and Ireland. Cleethorpes Town are warming up for their Wembley date in style. They scored 3 first-half goals at Garforth Town yesterday to win the contest 3-2. The Owls have already won the Northern Counties East Premier Division and have lifted the Lincolnshire Senior Cup. They've got 1 league game remaining, which is this coming Saturday, before the FA Vars final at the National Stadium on Sunday the 22nd of May. And that's all for the sport.
Thank you very much, Dan. That's it for tonight. Just to note that the Louth Run for Life is for men, women and children, so it's pretty much everybody, and they're looking for marshals. If you have a news story, then please visit our Facebook or Twitter pages, email news@estuary.tv or phone Grimsby 01472 31553. For now, good evening.
Thursday, cloudy throughout the day with patchy rain and showers. The max temperature will be 9 degrees. On Friday, there will be sunshine with showers throughout the day. It will feel warmer and turn chilly overnight. The max temperature will be 9 degrees.
In the headlines tonight, a new face for Labour in Hull, stamping out drugs across Humberside, and a call for green-fingered volunteers, also in Hull. And later in tonight's programme, I'll be joined by our very own Luke to talk about all things in the City of Culture. And before that, Paul Wymant tells me about his cycling challenge. The candidate to replace Alan Johnson for Labour in Hull West and Hessle has been revealed. Emma Hardy will replace Mr Johnson. She's an ex-primary school teacher and Hessle town councillor, and she'll inherit a majority of over 9,000 votes in the last general election. Ms Hardy says she aims to tackle the NHS crisis and cuts to schools, as well as ensuring that Britain gets a good Brexit for people within her constituency. A campaign to stamp out Class A drugs in Hull is being launched by Humberside Police. Operation Windsor will target drug dealers and crimes that pay for drug habits. Officers will team up with other agencies to help users fight addiction. The campaign follows a rise in the number of deaths linked to heroin use in Yorkshire and the Humber region. 2 deaths in Hull last week were linked to a synthetic substance thought to be more powerful than traditional street heroin. Drop-in sessions will be held at various venues and dates next month to give advice to users and their families. There's set to be train travel chaos tomorrow as part of industrial action. It's expected to cause widespread disruption across the region on the first day of the Tour de Yorkshire cycle event and on the eve of the bank holiday weekend. Northern Rail expects to run a reduced service with either train or replacement bus services. These include the Cleethorpes to Barton, Scarborough to Hull and Sheffield to Hull lines. The 48-hour planned strike has been called by members of the RMT union in a dispute over driver-only operation of trains. Richard Allen, Deputy Managing Director at Northern Rail, said they're very disappointed by the RMT's decision to strike. The willow tree at Scartho Community Library has, at long last, been given the chop. The tree was obstructing the extension of the library, which is owned by Foresight. The extension will include an activity room, office spaces and an expansion of the library itself. Paul Sylvester, Chief Officer of Foresight, says it's all about meeting demand from the Scartho community.
After sort of months of fighting and battling to get the tree removed. It's now gone, and we now feel as if we're making huge steps of progress towards extending the library and meeting community demand. Our next step now is to we're preparing the tender pack, and we'll shortly be going out to tender and appointing the building developer who will take on the building of the extension and other aspects of new heating, new lighting, making the library very sustainable and hopefully being used for very long term. Well, we're going to have a huge activity space, probably 130 metres square. We've got some small offices that are going to be created with local businesses moving in, and we're extending the library space as well. So that will be great. It'll be new kitchen, new heating, new lighting, which will make it much more economical to run and more self-sustainable. The income that the new build will generate will mean that the library can continue for many, many years, providing services to the community and for local people to enjoy. With that in mind, a week on Saturday, which is the 6th of May, we've got our first mural session, and we'd like anybody who's interested in portraying their thoughts of Scatha onto the wall at the rear of me to come along and take part in starting off a mural that will hopefully be a legacy for the library for many years to come.
A community allotment in Hull wants to persuade more people to be green-fingered. The Constable community allotment has been running for a year. It was set up by people from the St Andrews ward of the city. Local residents have been able to get involved with organically growing fruit and vegetables on the site. There's already been an abundance of leeks, onions and kale. Luzanne Tranter, project manager, explains how a new pizza oven will pull in the crowds.
We just think that they're really great things, and they're such good fun. They're a crowd puller. People can come along, and there is nothing like a cob pizza. It just tastes so lovely, and it's really good fun as well. So we hope to attract more people along to just come and enjoy the site, really, because it's a community allotment. So even though it's about growing fresh vegetables for people to come and share, it's also about creating a community spot where people can come and meet new people and just basically chill out, really, and have a nice day.
Some of us have built one before, but we need some new local people as well, because we want to be doing a bit of bricklaying. There'll be lots of different jobs that need doing, so we're looking for skills in the local area, people to come in, and at some point we want people to come and do a bit of gardening, and they can eat pizzas as well at some points.
We're always looking for people to come and join us. We have quite a few come already, but there's room for loads more. And the idea, we've got plenty of space to grow things in. And the idea is that if people come along and get involved, whether it's planting seeds or weeding, or just coming along and maybe contributing in another way.
Representatives from Yorkshire Water will meet campaigners tomorrow to discuss concerns over planned changes in Beverley. The company is planning to build a temporary access road at the sewage works in order to minimise disruption during construction. Yorkshire Water state that the road will be removed on completion and the greenfield site returned to its current condition. But residents fear this will result in a longer-term land grab of common land. Now, an East Yorkshire hotelier is about to take on a 1,500-mile bike ride for charity after his own battle against cancer. And I'm joined now by Paul Wymant to tell me what he's up to. Paul, welcome. Thank you very much for coming in.
Good evening.
First of all, how are you?
I'm well, thank you very much indeed.
Okay.
Yes.
You have very successfully battled against cancer.
Yes, indeed. I'm lucky. I went through 26 treatments of immunotherapy, which that was after the initial surgery, of course. And in the middle of last year, I was looked at internally by camera, and the Macmillan nurse said to me, "Paul, you're fine. Go and enjoy life."
Well, congratulations, and well done to all those doctors and nurses as well.
Thank you.
Now, what are you doing? You're trying to give them some sort of return on this splendid result.
Yes, I am. As I was going through the treatment, two things really helped me. Firstly, when I was feeling poorly and I was in bed, I quite like words, and I used to read and write some poetry. That I found helpful. Then when I was feeling better and stronger, I yearned for fresh air, and whilst I'm not a cycling geek, covered in lycra, I quite enjoy riding my bike.
I'm very relieved to see it.
So I took to the bike and just rode around the wolds and along the coast and what have you, just to take in the fresh air. So when I was given the all clear, I decided that I would like to put those two things together to help people, and just came up with this idea of riding round the UK. I wrote a poem. I think it's fairly inspirational.
It is, I've seen it. It's
Thank
a little bit long to produce it all here, and I
Yes.
don't want to just produce part of it because that would be unfair to it, but it is beautiful and inspirational, yes.
Thank you. So I'm going to take that poem to 35 Macmillan cancer centres and hospitals all around the UK on my bike.
Fantastic. Now, this is going to be a certain amount of distance that you're going to be pedalling in that case.
Yes.
What do you reckon
Yes.
it's going to be?
Well, it'd be somewhere towards 1,500 miles, I should think. It's going to take me 2 months. So it's not a race.
No.
So I'm going to be doing around about 40 miles a day, I think.
That's not too bad, is it? Cycling,
Well,
I suppose?
if you say it quickly. Yeah.
And as long as it's all downhill.
Absolutely.
You have to plan, so you've got more downhill than uphill. I'm not sure that
Yeah.
works.
Well, the first bit is down to the south coast, but then it's up to Scotland, so I'm not sure about that bit.
Now, this is raising money, apart from anything else. I mean, that the poetry and the sort of the mode of the transport for the poetry are
Yes.
both quite inspiring. But you're also raising money for
Macmillan.
For Macmillan Cancer.
Yes, indeed. Macmillan Cancer Support. So yes, the money is one element. Of course, it's an important element. I'm finding already people are generously helping, and they're looking at my website, which is apoemtoinspire.co.uk, reading about the story and helping me along the way. And I'm also hoping to inspire people to write their own poem and submit it again to the website. Already people are doing so, it's fantastic. And at the end of the journey, we'll create a book of the story of the journey, together with some chosen poetry that people have sent in, and publish that book again for the help of Macmillan.
People should write more poetry, shouldn't they? It's
I
a very
think
healthy
so.
thing to do.
I
And
think
there are
so.
lots of people who are very talented who won't know and recognise the fact that they're very talented until they try it.
Absolutely. There's a lady in Hull called a poet, Audrey Dunn.
Well, we know her very well here.
Yes, and she said to me, Paul, just put your heart on paper.
Absolutely.
And actually, we all can. We all can.
And it's a good thing to do when you've got sore legs in the evening after 40 miles of bicycle riding. Just give that website again, Paul, so that if people want to sponsor you or provide money in any other way as well, or just provide help in any
Yes.
other way, it's...
Please look, it's apoemtoinspire.co.uk.
And that's a poem to inspire, all one word.
All one word.
Paul,
Awesome.
have a fantastic bicycle ride.
Thank
Good
you
luck.
very
Thank
much
you very much
indeed.
for coming in. Don't go yet.
I don't go.
Join me after the break when Fred will bring us a roundup of all the latest sports action, and our very own Luke joins me on the sofa with the latest news from Hull 2017. Welcome back. You're watching SG News. Still to come tonight, Fred brings us all the sports news, and I'll be talking about the City of Culture with our very own Luke. A programme to upgrade pavement lighting is expected to start in Halton-le-Clay from this week. Almost £700,000 is being invested across the East Lindsey district to make nearly 3,000 lights more energy efficient. The LED lights will be 68% more energy efficient than the present ones. They're expected to save the district council more than £110,000 per year in the long term. The installation team is expected to move on to Northcotes, North Thoresby and Tetney at the beginning of May. Next month, the public will be asked to help record sightings of water voles. The People's Trust for Endangered Species says the water vole has experienced the most dramatic decline of any wild animal in the UK. Lincolnshire residents are being asked to keep watch over several riverbank sites and to report back their findings. More details about the monitoring programme are available from the PTES website. Professional orchestra Sinfonia Viva will be coming to Scunthorpe's Church Square as part of their Cabinet of Curiosities tour in June. Celebrating their 35th year, the orchestra will spend 2 days in the town centre for a series of educational and community creative projects and performances, and they're to give a public performance on the 19th. They're also inviting people to speak to the players and to try out some of the instruments. The event will be held on the 19th and the 20th of June. Tickets will be available from Sinfonia Viva very soon. Simon Clark is trekking along the coastline of Britain for charity. He's supporting Scottish charity Ecologia, which supports disadvantaged children in Kenya, Uganda and Myanmar. Simon has been trekking since March last year and has so far raised £12,500. He says it's been a real adventure.
It's well known that a marathon runner, they learn to live with being tired. So that's been both a challenge and a revelation that I do recover. So I've learnt that I recover quickly from a lot of exertion. I can work and marry this kind of exertion with the studious nature of work. It's the most marvellous expedition, and I have met hundreds and hundreds of people. I live in a world of goodwill. People are very generous. And we are trying to raise £20,000 for Ecologia, and we're currently at 12.5. So I've got 2 months to raise 7.5 grand. So getting home and raising that money is my key focus for the next 8 or 9 weeks.
And I'm joined now by our very own Luke with the latest news from the City of Culture.
Hello,
Luke.
Hugh. Happy Thursday. Good to see you as always.
Thursday, Luke. What's going on in Hull?
4-day music festival is coming to Hull this weekend, starting from tomorrow. John Grant's North Atlantic Flux sounds from Smoky Bay. A whole plethora of Scandinavian and Icelandic musicians and singers will be coming to Hull, like I say, for this 4-day festival at various locations across the city, including the City Hall, the Fruit Market in the beautifully renovated Humber Street Marina area of the city, and the Jubilee Church.
Some fantastic venues then.
Fantastic venues, and hopefully a good mix of music. Some of the names who will be there include Gus Gus, Tonic Ensemble and Lindstrom. I've heard of Lindstrom, but regrettably not the other two. So it'd be interesting to see what kind of music they
I know. Well, Scandinavian music is intriguing and mysterious, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yeah.
One thinks of fjords and Thor
Yes,
and Odin and Vikings.
And lots of cold weather.
And lots of bracing. Let's call it bracing.
Bracing, absolutely.
Okay, that sounds
John
wonderful.
Grant's hosting this festival, and there's also going to be a live set by the man himself at some point through the weekend. And when I last researched this event, Hugh, there was a 4-day pass for the full event costing £89.
Okay.
Bit of a snip.
Splendid.
And of course it's a bank holiday weekend, so that's why it's going to be spread over 4 days. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay.
thank you.
Later in June, Assemble Fest, a wedding breakfast with a twist in a church and a puppet show in a cafe.
Very well.
Yes. These are some of the performances which are going to be happening down Newland Avenue in the summer. It's a 1-day theatre festival which will transform areas of the avenue into unlikely pop-up performance spaces, and it will be the 4th year that this event has taken place.
Okay.
So obviously it's happened before, but it's tying in with the whole City of Culture story.
Of course.
And everything what's going on in and around the city. And like we said before, Hugh, nice to see events happening just outside of the city centre, not just focusing predominantly in the main hub.
And that's on the Saturday, the 3rd of June.
That's correct, yes.
Splendid. I'm interested in the next one.
Well, I was going to ask you the question. Do the songs Picture This, Call Me, and Atomic ring any bells? Maybe Sunday Girl?
I am very fond of Debbie Harry.
Yes. A certain Debbie Harry's not coming to this area, but a tribute act to Debbie Harry by the name of Denise Danielle, who is described as the closest to Debbie Harry yet.
I think I've met her, and she is. She's an absolute spit for Debbie Harry.
Well, I saw
Very
a
beautiful.
picture of her, and she does look a bit of a dead ringer for her.
Yeah.
That's at Howdenshire Hall on Saturday at 7:30. Debbie Harry looks amazing for 71.
Well,
and she's still got the voice.
Denise Danielle looks amazing as Debbie Harry as well, but it's the music that we're going for. Let us not distract ourselves.
See, what's your favourite Blondie track? For me,
Heart of Glass, I think.
Excellent choice. Excellent choice. For me, Picture This, released in 1978.
All right.
Very good track. And do I quickly have time to tell you about the free ships exhibition? We've reported on this quite heavily, but it's a nice event, what's happening, and it closes tomorrow at the... So look at Maritime Museum.
Okay, it's a fascinating exhibition. Captain Cook,
That's
the
right.
Viola, of course, and Hull's only remaining steam trawler, and still I'm intrigued by the tunic made of bark.
Yes.
Something to do with Captain Cook in the South
Absolutely.
Seas.
Absolutely.
Well, there's a lot going on.
Lots
Luke,
going on.
thank you very much. That has been absolutely splendid.
See you next week.
Looking forward to being in Hull. Here's Fred with all the sports news.
Hull City will have Umar Niaz available for Saturday's game at Southampton. The striker's red card was overturned, having been sent off wrongly by referee Bobby Madley in last week's win against Watford. Fullback Omar El Abdellaoui will miss out through a continued back injury. Meanwhile, Marco Silva has been having his say on the club's poor away form. They're without a win on the road in 16 games, in stark contrast to winning 8 of the last 9 at home.
Of course, you need to change. We analyze our last game like we did normally. In all our every games we play, and I think it's clear to me, and I hope it's clear for our players what we need to do different. We lost the last time we play away against Stoke. We lost one very good chance to take points.
Also at City today, speaking through an interpreter, winger Lazar Markovic laid down his targets for the final 2 away games. That's away to Southampton this Saturday and at Crystal Palace in a couple of weeks' time.
Da moramo da osvojimo neki bod, da li 3 ili 1, ali mislim da treba, svakako.
I think it's very important. We need to at least 2 points to gain from those games, maybe 3, but it's very important.
Grimsby Town will again be without Akwazi Asante for Saturday's game at Barnet. Russell Slade confirmed this morning that the striker would miss the match and also said that a couple of others would miss out with knocks, although he wouldn't confirm who. He's been speaking about Saturday's opponents Barnet, who are just 1 place below the Mariners in League One.
They're playing with a real freedom, I think, Barnet at the minute. They've got a striker in Akindi who's got 26 goals or something in that region, and I quite like the midfielder Taylor in midfield, who's done very well for them. So they're quite useful going forward, and it'd be a tough competitive game. But they do try to play as well, so it'd be a football match.
Hull FC coach Lee Radford has confirmed that Danny Houghton will return from injury next week. The hooker has been back in training over the last couple of days, and now the 2016 Man of Steel is in line for a first-team recall. Meanwhile, Radford has named his 19-man squad for tomorrow night's game against Warrington. Liam Watts misses out through suspension, while Jez Litton and Jack Downs come in. Elsewhere, Hull Kingston Rovers had confirmed the date for their Challenge Cup 6th round tie at Salford next month. That tie will take place on Friday the 12th of May, getting underway at 8 p.m. FC's game against Catalan Dragons will take place at the same time. And that's all for the sport.
Thanks very much, Fred. That's it for tonight. Remember, it is the People's... Anyway, the Water Voles. You know the website to go for that. For us, though, Estuary news at estuary.tv, 01472 3155553. I've confused myself dreadfully now. Or you can write to us as well. My thanks to Luke for, as usual, the City of Culture news. Until tomorrow, good evening.